uh, this idea in the mind goes away. Uh, at a higher note, my master used to say that this mind, crazy mind, imagines. Imagination leads to thinking, and the thoughts lead to what we say bhava. Bhav. Bhav is a feeling and aspiration in the mind. Last week, I woke up and I said, let me follow this part of imagination. I became aware of the body and I said, mind imagined that this is the body. Thought going to the restroom came. Mind imagined restroom and going there. I refuse to accept any thought, any feeling, any sensation as real, but it is all imagination. That is dropping into the mind. So then, breakfast was ready. That is also imagination. I am looking at people. That is also an imagination. What happened to the mind? The mind separated everything, all the activities, every thought from itself. What I felt, the body became so light, as if there is no body. And the moment the mind dropped the identification with the body, the ego sense already gone, and a sense of freedom came that reflected into the mind. I said, this is also imagination. Whatever the experiences, feeling, thought, ideas taking place in the mind, it is nothing but imagination. What is that imagination means? It will come and go. It has no foundation. It has no basis. Why I said so? When you treat your ego sense like imagination, it will not force you that I must have it. It is imagination. It is imagination. There are many ways. That is the beauty. That is the beauty of the Eastern wisdom. That we can follow any path and we can reach to that state of awakening. See that. So now look this process on the basis of the first step. First step, real self, false self. I am not. So when I say I am forcing, I want at any cost, am I experiencing this thought? Yes. Whatever I experience is not me. From where you have come, my friend, treat it friendly. My friend, where you are coming, from where you have come, why there is a force, why there is a compulsion, and you simply become aware of it. In the fire of awareness, ego sense drops. Now see the other side of it. The ego sense comes when mind does not want to become aware of the real self. When mind does not want to become aware of the real self, why it does not want? Because it is claiming, I am not as I am. That is why there is a force, that is why there is a compulsion. I am what I am. I need not to create myself. I am already there. The mind with a strong ego sense forgets this. What is forgetfulness? Ignorance. What is forgetfulness? Avidya. So now related to the second step. That is why I have to do my duty and responsibility free from ego sense and desire for the fruits of an action. I must have it means desire fulfillment. Simple. So, behind that force and compulsion that I must have it, that idea, that thought, either it is imagination. So, okay, we smile. Okay, it is only an imagination. Continue to force, my friend, no problem. Or becoming aware. Becoming aware of what? It is coming from the desire fulfillment. What is my goal? Self fulfillment. Where I am going? To my home. Where mind is pushing me to drive? Opposite home. Just become aware. Live into that awareness. Just see, see. You are aware, aware, aware. And you will see that force melts away. It gives you a very subtle awareness where you discover that there are some moments of push and force, movement of the prana, and you become aware. If it doesn't happen, there are chances. At that very moment, don't give force to the same thought, then change the thought as such. How to change the thought? Imagine that you are in the permanent state of happiness without this object. We are treating the mind. Imagine you are in the state of a bliss which is not coming from anything outside. And just imagine. So that imagination removes the previous imagination of ego sense. Ego sense is just an imagination. There is nothing. Doer and the enjoyer is all our imagination. I see an object. Who sees? When I say I see, it is my eyes. Mind processes the information. Mind says likes, liking attachment. Now the mind forces the intellect to make a decision that this object I like, I must have it. That creates a delusion. It's a process, series. So when there is a delusion that why I must have it because it gives me pleasure, it gives me happiness. But now I must have it. So you see that it creates a doer. The doer is created in delusion, in illusion, in ignorance. So if we look back, okay, who is forcing me? Eyes? I'm not my eyes. Body? No, I'm not my body. Mind? I'm not my mind. So who is forcing me? Who is the doer here? So now you come to a contemplation and reflection that let me find the doer who is forcing me to have this pleasure before I start acting on it. Let me know the doer. And what is going to happen? That doer disappears because it does not exist. Ashtavakra, the great master teaching Janaka, says Naham tada moksho. Where there is no ego sense, there is liberation, freedom. Na Naham tada moksho, tadaham tada bandhanam. Where there is ego sense, there is bondage because it is pushing me, it is forcing me. See the different perspective. That is the beauty. You separate all the contents of the mind from the mind itself. That process is known as seer in the seen process. That I am the seer. Whatever is seen cannot be me. I experience a force, a pressure, a thought, a joy of possessing one thing. It is all seen. I see it. I experienced it. So I contemplate and reflect that whatever is seen, my friend, cannot be me. Then who is forcing? And that force, the ego sense drops. That is why the master says, that is why the master says, I must be 100% clear about what is real self and what is false self, what I am and what I am not. Now, have you heard about four yugas? We have Sato Yuga, Sat Yuga, we have Dwapar Yuga, we have Treta Yuga, we have Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
So, huh?
So now it's Kali Yuga.
Now it is Kali Yuga. That is written in Purana. It just came to my mind. So it is written in Purana. What I have to do if the Sato Yuga is one, maybe 2 million or 5 million years, what I have to do with it? It will not help me. So what is the message there? Message is very clear. As long as I live in the forgetfulness of the self, even I do not become aware after knowing it, and or I do not know, then I am in Kali Yuga. That is finished. Don't start counting number of years and the Avtara will take place in Kali Yuga. Now, Dwapar Yuga. There are four. Satyug, we have Treta, Satyug, Treta, and Satyug, Treta, Dwapar, and what is that? Dwapar and Kali Yuga. So now, what about the second one? That is Dwapar. In Dwapar Yuga, Dwa means two. So I move into delusion and I move into sometime knowledge. Oh, yes, real self is there. No, 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 that is not there. That is why my mind pushes me to get the. So now find out those moments are moments in the time of Dwapar Yuga in you. When the mind is moving outside and inside, outside and inside, it is known as Treta Yuga. When the mind is constantly, consciously, joyfully living within, it is Sato Yuga. So Sato Yuga prepares you for a deeper meditation. So I don't remember the exact number of years, but something around 100 million human years is equal to 1 day of Brahma. Now see that. Now that will clarify. So it means 100 years, 100 years means hardly even not a single moment. 1,000 or something, 10 million or 100 million years of human life is 1 day of Brahma. Means what? My 100 years is not even a single minute. Can
But
I become a
Brahma means God. Yeah.
Brahma God? Yeah, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. So now combine these two principles. So it means at this very moment, I have to live my life consciously to check whether I'm in Kali Yuga, whether I'm in Treta Yuga, whether I'm in Dwapar Yuga, or whether I'm in Sato Yuga. Just see that. See the beauty of understanding. So when we say Upanishads, it gives you the right knowledge, very compressed, step by step, and it demands your contemplation and reflection. But those who are not able to contemplate and reflect, you may say their IQ is very low, they don't reach to that level of Manisha. So the masters have written Purana. There are 18 Puranas. In Purana, you have this description of Sato Yuga in number of years, Treta Yuga, the number of years, and Dwapar, number of years, Kali Yuga, number of years. So one demands Shraddha, faith, other demands contemplation and reflection. Both are the same. So when I see through my intellect what is the use and what is the fun of having a pleasure in this object, it takes me to Kali Yuga. It takes me to Kali Yuga. Now see that how I combine these two. So Kali Yuga means forgetfulness of the real self, even as a knowledge, as an information. That is why we discussed first is the listener. Two parts. Let me cover this. So now I have a contemplation and reflection. I reflected, I understood there is a clarity and conviction that there is a real self, which is of the nature of permanent happiness. What is the next step? The moment I take the next step towards real self, I demand a faith. Mind demands a faith. So, in this journey, what the journey we are taking is what? We are understanding the principles. We are contemplating and reflecting. Once there is a clarity and conviction, now from Manisha, I move into faith. What is that faith? I don't know the real self yet. I have understood. So, with that faith, I treat the path. So, what happens? First, Manisha, then Shraddha or faith. That is one way to of the journey. The other way is that you should have a faith first. No, Brahma's 100 million human years is equal to, no, 1 million years of human life is equal to 1 day of Brahma. There may be something calculation. So now I should, so those who do not live with the Manisha, they cannot reach to that understanding. They do not use their intellect. So the Purana says, think of it. Think of it. How long you live? Only 100 years. And 1 million years of human life is equal to 1 day of Brahma. So, how it inspires me? Oh, if I reach to the kingdom of Brahma, that is what the Bible also see. Reach to the kingdom of God. You see the common points. So, oh, it means I will live for 1 million years. What should I do? So it inspires. The mind goes into imagination. You see, your thoughts of the suffering comes to an end. Oh, imagine. Let me start. What should I do? Go and pray. So what happens? The journey starts. So what happens as you continue the journey? You are absorbed into meditation and you find Sato Yuga is here and now. Now come back. Sato Yuga is here and now. Oh, then the master says, this is what the Sato Yuga is there. You are living in the Sato Yuga. Why you think that you should live for 1 million years? So it breaks the knot of delusion. So now come to the second step and link it. How you link it to the second step? The first step is I have a clarity of knowledge. I am and I am not. There are only two things in the world. I am not in millions and trillions. I am only one. Manisha inspires you when I am only one. I have not to look at millions and trillions of objects and the people and the relationship and the colors and the forms. That I am becomes a seeker. And that seeker then says what to do. Don't change anything outside. Live your life, change inside. Two things: drop the ego sense while performing an action and drop the desire sense. Fruit sense. Don't start thinking that I will be in happiness when I possess and procure or eat and own this thing. That is the idea. But it does not mean that you are not working. You constantly work. Pasta comes, very good. Thank you. Mind, see, pasta has come, but become aware. What is that awareness? Are you seeking happiness by eating pasta? No. Happiness is inside. Happiness can never be in any object. You have the most beautiful women with you. Still, the happiness will be experienced inside. You see that you have the ugliest women or men with you, you still experience happiness inside. See that? That clarity, that is what the Manisha is. That takes you deeper. Oh, that is the way. So, what I have to do tomorrow, I will give a session to a couple. So now mind goes to only one thing, focus on the principle, what I have to deliver, what I have to teach. Not waiting for appreciation that when I give a talk, this couple will appreciate me and uh, that will continue my journey, that will help those people continue paying me. I just listen to the talk again. It is all so true. Most of the time I feel miserable is because of what my mind is imagining. I got a message just now, half an hour before. Now you see, this is the Manisha. So this gives me a true happiness. Not the money, not the appreciation, because now I see that this guy is becoming a seeker. What a beautiful. You see that? Let me. I just listened to the talk again. It is so true. Most of the time, I feel miserable because of what my mind is imagining, what I think is going to happen or not happen. What a beautiful change. This person was too much frustrated until last year. Lot of challenges. Are these challenges gone? They are still there. Why? Because it pertains to the other people. What about the challenges that I was feeling in my life last year? No more challenges. So the journey of the self discovery brings an end to all the challenges, brings an end to the suffering in your life. Don't start expecting because I am doing, hence others will also bring an end to the suffering. You see, this is the point, the message in the second step, that I must perform my duty and responsibility. It means I must, means I'm not going to the Himalayas. Going to the Himalayas, doing meditation there, and returning, you return to the same life. Inside did not change. So that is what the summary of the second step. Now comes the Manisha says, after all, why don't you say that after all you are doing all the activities? I can understand that I remove the ego sense and I remove the fruits for the desire, and I understand that the happiness is always experienced within me. Hence, I must pursue the path in order to discover that happiness in me. But after all, there is some doer, even if I'm not the doer. Action is happening. So that brings us to a deeper level of awareness. So, whatever is happening, so first master says it is happening or you are doing. No, it is happening. Let it happen. Participate in that happening. Let it happen more beautifully. Let it happen with a perfection. It's all happening. Can I say I am my lips? That's why I'm speaking. Am I my throat? No. Am I my eyes? No. Am I my body? No. Am I my mind? No. Am I my intellect? No. This is all a part of the Prakriti. So here the Sankhya Yoga and the Patanjali Yoga comes. That is the journey. What he says, Prakriti is independent. Everything is happening in the Prakriti. Nothing is happening in you. Since birth, I am remains as I am. Body is a part of Prakriti. Mind is a part of Prakriti. Sense organ is a part of Prakriti. Thoughts are part of the Prakriti. Ego sense is a part of the Prakriti. Even the ego sense is forcing you to do something. Oh, it's a part of the Prakriti. Separate yourself.
And what is Purusha?
Purusha is my real self. You see, the approach, so beautiful approach. Our understanding is so becomes so clear. Purusha, we have different names in different cities' names. You add pur in the end. Nagpur, Kanpur, Muzaffarpur. We have names of different cities. So Purusha means the one who lives in the city of Prakriti. What is the city? Body, mind, sense organ, intellect, ego, thoughts, ego sense, everything except the real self is the entire city in which the Purusha, the real self, dwells. What a beautiful way to put it. That is why it is known as Purusha. Pur. So prefix has become Pur. Purusha. And then it becomes the noun Purusha. Prakriti. Prakriti means krati. Krati means action, doing something, happening. Prakriti. Huh? So special way of happening. What is the special way of happening? This body is made up of matter. It has to go to the matter again. That is the special way of happening.
So Prakriti, it's selfish and it's self.
It's a
So,
self-regulating.
so it's not need any participation from side of Purusha. Prakriti is working like
Yes, that is the most beautiful question you asked, and the answer Master gives only in the presence of a Purusha, the Prakriti works. When it is absent, Prakriti is no more. The presence is required. Consciousness behind my eyes are required to see you. Consciousness behind the mind is required to think.
so.
See that?
Existence is Purusha, and if no existence, nothing is exist.
So, because that real self or that existence is always present, hence this world will continue to be present in the same way as it is now. We have Hitlers 50, 60 years ago. We may have Hitlers, we may have crime, we may have violence, we may have good people, we may have teachers. Everything is as it is. Whether you see 200 years ago or thousands of years ago, the world will continue to exist in the same way. It is the mind that gives us a comparison. Less crime, more crime. Crime is there. Main thing, violence is there. Less or more. That is our interpretation. That is our interpretation.
And for Purusha, there is no time, no space, no time.
Yes, Purusha is real self. It is all pervading. It is timelessness. It is spacelessness. Whatever the time and the space is there, it is in the Prakriti. So the Prakriti consists of five elements, and from the five elements, then you have the sense organs, you have the motor organs, you have the mind, you have the intellect. It is known as 24 elements. Sankhya Yoga says there are total 25 elements. What are the 25 sense organs? Five motor organs, five elements, five tanmatras, five subtle elements, then mind, intellect, ego, and mind 23, and the Mahat. It's a cosmic principle, the cosmic ego. These are the 24 elements of the Prakriti. What is left? 25th is Purusha. So
And
Sankhya
Purusha,
Yoga says, why you spend so much waste your time in meditation? Understand this clearly. 24 elements belongs to Prakriti. I'm speaking. That very speaking is done by the Prakriti. I raised my hand, done by the Prakriti. Huh? In the society, someone claims that I am the teacher, guide, and mentor Prakriti. But in which presence it is happening? Purusha. Remove the Purusha, see how the hand can move. Presence only. Only the presence. Only the presence. Something, I won't say exactly the catalytic agent. You are educated in physics and chemistry. So it is, you cannot say it is a catalytic agent, but it is much higher than that. In the presence of that real self, that existence, the entire world is happening. Now, when we understand this clearly, then now the third step is clear. The mind returns again, it says, I am the doer. So now teach, educate the mind. No, existence is the doer because you have to reach to the existence. You see that? No, I have lot of money, I am rich. No, existence is rich. I am poor. No, existence is poor. Let it go. You see that idea, that understanding, that whatever the movement is there, change is there, which is happening by itself. I cannot control this body to live for 500 years. Tell me, it is happening process. Purely it is happening process. So when the main body is happening process, whatever is present inside, including the mind, thoughts, feelings, sensation, ego sense, all belongs to it. So why should I carry the burden? Why should I carry the burden? You see that? So first the master says, drop the ego sense. There's a fruits for the action for the time being before you move to the third step. And in the third step, oh my goodness, now everything is happening. Did your mind think of becoming so rich in your life in the future? No, you did not think. It's a part of the Prakriti. That is why you see that we have economics, the science. We maintain that balance? You see that? So we have a balance. We talk of the balance, but it is happening. I cannot stop the storm, but I can prevent myself from the storm. Third step. So now comes the fourth step. Now, what happens, because the mind has to constantly work since our birth, the mind is motivated, inspired, dictated by the animal instinct. So we became a human being, a thinking individual, so I can recognize this is the desire for the sex, this is the desire for the food. Go further. Desire for the sex, no, I want only a beautiful woman. I want only this food. Now you see that. See the check, the way the mind was evolving from the animal to the. When the tiger is hungry and the tiger hunts the mouse, he eats the mouse. Eats even, you have seen crocodile, eats deer. That is not a matter of choice. That is a matter of that Prakriti has an unconscious operation. You can say happening or unconscious operation, or it has its own force of dictating on the animals, on the human being. We have a choice either to be governed or not to be governed. That is the entire journey of awakening, meditation, spirituality. If I allow the Prakriti to be dictated, to dictate on me, Kali Yuga, I forget myself. You see that? That's why I started that topic. I live in Kali Yuga. What is that Kali Yuga? I have seen a lot of people. One, every time she met me, she said, "Sir, I'm so much suffering." I said, "What happened?" See that I had a sprain in my knee. And she continued complaining about the sprain for minimum 6 weeks in every session. Sir, give me something. Then another 5 or 6 sessions. You see, my husband inserted me, and in every session, you do small things. You make it so big. Kali Yuga. That is what Kali Yuga is. Kali Yuga is not something that is, even though it is continuing. So, what is the fourth step is saying? The fourth step is saying that you have to find out mind still associate and links with the desire. So, go and understand the cause of the desire. See what is binding desire. If it is binding desire, that will take you to Kali Yuga. And if it is unbinding desire, desire for freedom, desire for inner peace, I am saying in specifically, let the mind imagine that inner peace is coming out. The way we imagine, if I get this thing, I will get peace. That is also imagination. Why it is imagination? It is happening in front of a mirror that is mind. Do you see that point? Binding and unbinding desire. So, binding desire also is an image in the mind. Unbinding desire is also an image in the mind. So, why, my mind, you are attached to this, which takes you outside so that you start living in Kali Yuga? Don't do that. That is our fourth step. So, it demands lot of contemplate. First, you meditate and then you contemplate. Meditate, contemplate, meditate, contemplate. So one day, what will happen? You are standing before the mirror. You will see, thank you, mind. You are showing this image of a person. This is not me, because this is the image of the body. The mind says, how dare you say that? So then ask the mind. Mind is the mirror. So ask that mirror. So, mirror, tell me, you see me white in color. Do you also become white? Mind is colorless. Do you also increase weight? I am 100 pound standing before the mirror. Ask the mind. Mirror, have you increased the weight? Do you recognize the gender? I am male or female? Do you recognize my height? No. So, what is the goal of the fourth step? The mind should act like a mirror. Now, mind is like a mirror. You see these four steps, step by step. They are working. The Shankara is a crazy master. He lived only for 37 years. It is his sadhana panchakam. It is all his 40 steps. And he included almost everything. But now the mind has yet to go deeper. So when it goes deeper, it says, even there is no ego sense. There is some force inside me forcing me to do a particular thing. I did it habitually, instinctively. I entered into unfavorable circumstances. I entered into anxiety. I woke up in the morning and I felt so much of anxiety in me, and other day I woke up and I felt so much of peace in me. What is all this? That brings a topic of error of judgment, sins and virtues. So that gives us a clue that why I have this body, why this beer guy is teaching you, why not you teaching me? we we should go to the extreme. Ask these thoughts. So the master says it is because of swadharma, because of your previous birth. Don't go to the previous birth. Our DNA, our RNA makeup, we are, we contain the traits, physical, mental, emotional traits, because of the conditioning by the society, because we carry forward some of the impressions from our parents and ancestors. Go back to the 10th generation. And what is the last one? When the first human being was born? Go to that. I belong to that first human being. So that first human being was the product of evolution, as we have 8.4 million species. So when we say that all these impressions coming from the previous birth, science knows it is at the physical level, we know it at the mental level, at the level of causal cause. And that because whatever the sins and the virtues we have accumulated, part of which has given this body, so that those impressions will be exhausted in this life. And there I can make a choice by the first four steps. Not only to remove the sins, but continue my journey to the next step, in the next step of my evolution. I remember one thing very good that will make you very clear. Yeah. You see the transportation, the principle of transportation is same as it was millions of years ago when the human race started living in a group, in a community. What is that principle?
Yeah.
The wheel. Whether you say the four-wheeler, two-wheeler, single-wheeler, what the science has done on that fundamental principle, they have added quality. Bullock cart, now bicycle. Bicycle by me. So I can handle, increase the speed. Gone to the car. Car to plane. Plane to satellite. Main principle. You see that? One. That is how we evolve. Now, the second part of evolution. First computer, what a big one.
Yeah.
But only the facilities in that computing has increased. Efficiency has increased. And now I have a computer in my hand. The smartphone is nothing but a computer. Now add these two in our process of evolution. You will come to know what is meditation, what is awakening, what is awakening. There is something present in both the cases. One leads to physical evolution, and the other leads to mental evolution. So, what does it mean by removing the bugs from the computer? You are removing the sins and the virtues, you are balancing them. Nothing more than that. Oh, this bug has come. It has created unfavorable condition, anxiety and the stress. Now I understand. It is because of the bug. That bug is a sin. Since let me work on it, let me change, and I'll now live in peace. Independent of everything outside. And then now we go little deeper. The last time we picked up, I think, inherent defects in the pleasure. So when I see there is a pain, there is a suffering in anything, I my mind enters into the state of manisha and then it drops and dissolves. On the other hand, now the mind is purified. You see, the mind is clear, intellect has a conviction, the mind is purified. Now, my mind is not asking any question that how to control my pleasure, how to control the force that is erupting in me. Now, my mind is clear, Manisha is there, so let me know what is the next step. So, what is the next step? So, we have to cultivate the knowledge of the real self. That leads me to awakening and realization. Step by step, ladder by ladder. One step, second step. So, you can say that Ashtanga Yoga is converted comprehensively into 40 steps. So we don't give any reference or practice of asanas, pranayama, but wherever it is required, we are already doing in the practice. But our goal is at the higher level, with a deeper insight, with a clarity. And once you have a clarity and understanding, then what happens? Now your eyes are closed, and say, for example, you close your eyes. Now, based on these six principles, you are aware that I am is inside. So that is why the sense organ should be dropped with their object. That is why you close your eyes. So, this closing the eyes is symbolic in meditation, which points you that none of these sense organs should be running after any object. So, when you are aware of this, you jumped from Kali Yuga to Sato Yuga. You see that, that is why we say the teacher is why I spent 26 years with my master. It's a waste. Was I fool? Was I crazy? No, I realized the importance. I realized that importance. You see that? So, by simply reading the book and studying it, it will not help us. So, based on our mental, intellectual, physical state, level of awareness, the stage of the evolution, the teacher guides. Teacher says, okay, now if I pick up this topic and I will explain this. Principles are the same, they are not mind principles. The beauty is this. So, we are always free in that sense. We are always free. These principles have been passed on for the last 10,000 years. You understand it, you will be there. You do not understand, you will not be there. It is not my principle. I am not forcing you. I am not guiding you. So that keeps, that idea makes the person, especially the teacher, very clear. Because clarity is there in the teacher's head means what? There is no chance of developing an ego sense. Come on, I've been teaching you. Why don't you understand? I have taught you in a different way. So, how you get rid of it? Because I learned from my master. He never told me. He continued teaching me. You see that? He continues. Why he continues teaching me? He realized that here is the little ignorance is left. Let me explain like this. Let me do the practice. Let me guide the practice like this. That is why we say that it is a master and a disciple tradition. Do you see that? That is the beauty. Now, see, I believe that more and more clarity has come. So, even so, you do the practice.